Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syafrial Daffa G. In this video, I will discuss stock selection with a top-down approach to fulfill the final test evaluation on capital market measure given by my lecturer, Mr. Andi. The stock that I will review is PT Vale Indonesia, Inco, and PT Unilever Indonesia is UNVR. Stock selection with a top-down approach starts with an analysis of overall macroeconomic trends, which then narrows to the previous sector industry analysis, which ultimately leads to the stock analysis. According to the fund format, there are four steps in the top-down approach. The first starting with the global macroeconomic condition, and then domestic macroeconomic condition, sector growth prospect, and the last is company fundamental, namely analyzing company qualitatively or exploring all things related to the company businesses, including company management. Analyzing the company qualitatively aims to determine the financial health of the company. Fundamental analysis involves quantities such as per, price to sell, and dividend yield. The current figures for these quantities are compared with past figure to determine whether the market is already expensive or still cheap. Technical analysis helps investment manager determine market position relative to its long-term cycles. This is done by analysis a chart of market movement over for fairly long period of time before then narrowing the time horizon to daily movement. Based on BKPM official site, the COVID-19 pandemic has deeply impacted the life of Indonesian citizens. Work has become scarce, businesses are suffering, etc. This has created a big problem because Indonesia has been rather dependent on the tourism industry. Now that travel restrictions and bans have been set around the world, Indonesia must look further and focus on the other industry. In order to accelerate Indonesian economy recovery, strategic steps must be taken to ensure that the people are led to prosperity. In the industrial sector that are prime mover of economic growth are the chemical industry, the pharmaceutical, traditional medication industry, furniture industry, rubber industry, and plastic industry, machinery industry, as well as the food and beverages industry. Examine the percentage of growth that this industry have experienced. Industries that have positive growth over the years are the chemical, pharmaceutical, traditional medicine industry, with 11.46%, with the furniture industry close behind it, 8.44%, the plastic and rubber industry 3.84%, and machinery and equipment industry at 3.22%, and lastly is the food and beverages industry. In the context of the analysis of each stock, fundamental analysis includes measurement of quantities such as growth ratio, return on equity, and dividend yield. One of the important aspects in this analysis is the determination of the issuer growth prospect over the next few years. Ideally, investment manager will choose stock with issuers that have high growth potential, because this will trigger an increase in their share price. On the other hand, technical analysis concentrates on chart of daily and weekly stock price movement for a relatively long period of time to determine a price that is considered feasible for investment manager to start buying a stock. After obtaining super share, the process of buying share can begin immediately. In this presentation, I chose Unilever Indonesia and Vale in Indonesia. PT Unilever Indonesia manufacture, market, and distribute consumer goods in Indonesia. It offers soap, detergent, dairy-based food, ice cream, and etc. While PT Vale Indonesia engaged in the exploration and mining processing, storage, transportation, and marketing of nickel and related mineral products in Indonesia, Canada, and Japan. It operates a concession area of 1,870 hectares located in central South and Southeast Sulawesi. In fundamental analysis, I will compare the balance sheet, profitability, and cash flow from last year to the first quarter of 2022. For technical analysis, I use Elliott waves, triple moving average, and Fibonacci retracement to determine whether buy, sell, hold, or wait and see the movement of stock. To be briefly, Unilever experienced a sluggishness that made some investors distrustful of Unilever performance. But in the first quarter of 2022, Unilever received hope to recover as can be seen in the ratio in the presentation. This is so different from Bali Indonesia or Inco, which has gone through a dark period in 2016 and is now in the recovery stage, even though it was hit by a pandemic so miserably. So further on the technical discussion, I use the triple moving average 50, 100, and 200, Elliott wave, and Fibonacci retracement. In my technical analysis, the first time I use is Elliott wave and triple moving average. It can be seen that in the last 2 years, Unilever has experienced a downtrend. The moving average 200 is a point of resistance that is difficult to break, in contrast to the 50 and 100 moving average. However, it can still be seen that the moving average 50 is also a resistance. Then in the first quarter of publication, there is a little hope, namely that the operating income, the increased, and the director who buy Unilever own share. So it will become the resistance that I use if there is a penetrate price. So when the price is penetrate on moving average 50, I buy at 3,750 for just one lot and got profit around 2.5%. After that, I use uh, Fibonacci retracement to see if there's any support there I can use if there's any movement on stock. So I try to do this Fibonacci like this, and as you can see, there is a resistance at 407,000, and I'll be monitored if further whether the price of 404 I mean 4,414 or 410 becomes a strong support. If it's become a support, I buy at the price range and monitor whether I can take profit in around 10% until 15% or cut loss if it's below the support price. Next, for the Vale stock, the same step I use for the technical analysis of the Unilever stock. Find the point on the uptrend using the Elliott wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then use a triple moving average. As you can see, the moving average 50 is a valid support because it became a support when the price is dropped. Then use Fibonacci retracement. The first step, I used to uh, track it from the 0 point and top it. Now the 0.618 is become a support here, as you can see. It's right here. Uh, when you track it from a point to still the same as before. Still, it can be said if it pulled at 0.4, then the support is still at 0.6182. So move to the how I generate my profit. It's right here. Still the same determining for my profit. I will buy at support at around 7,500. Then I will sell it at a resistance at around 800. I mean 8,000 rupiah. It's like that. And for determining profit, it's depend on the preferences of each individual. You can buy at support price, sell at the resistance price, buy when price breaks through resistance, or buy when price goes to support. But you should take a note that you should set a cut loss if the price drop below the support price. And that's it from my presentation. If there is any mistake, I'm sorry. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.